I'm gonna record the iCloud just to make sure, but I'm gonna do my phone too, just for myself.
Who are we missing? We're missing Bill still, aren't we?
No, I'm here.
We have Phil. Oh, there's his,
Oh,
there's
Bill.
his face.
Bill.
So we have everybody for the board members. So I'm gonna go ahead
Right,
and
we're
call.
missing Bill DeFucci.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
missing DeFucci.
Okay, let me get a minute and call him.
Tough to
real
run.
quick.
It's tough to have these meetings without the building inspector there.
Maybe he's at football practice.
Or is Vermin Supreme his new handle? I don't know who that is.
That's Drew Worley.
Yeah.
Bill, are you coming on Zoom? They're asking.
Drew?
Are you doing it off your phone or a computer? That's with an iPad? Well, go out of it and come back in and see if it works. And if not, try your phone. Just go to Zoom. Yeah, go into the Zoom app and then you can probably just put in your ID, the meeting ID. We'll give it a few minutes here. All right, bye. He's having a hard time. We need to give him a few minutes if you guys don't mind.
Okay.
We're on the clock, Bill. Let's go.
Can you go get it in the garage? Try to keep the background noise quiet here tonight. Well, while we're waiting, I can go ahead and call the meeting to order. We can at least start the election of the chairman and the vice chairman. So I will call the Tuesday, January 26th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. I'm going to go ahead and call the roll. Lorian,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes?
Phillips,
Yes.
Bolts,
Yes.
and Karowski.
Yes.
Okay, and now I'm going to ask for a nomination for election of chairman for the 2021 year. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we keep Dan Phillips and Bob Volts chair and vice chair.
All right, let's
Or-
do, we have to do one at a time.
One at a
So
time,
you can
okay.
go ahead and do the Dan Phillips for chairman first.
Okay.
I have a
we'll-
second.
I'll second it, but any comments before we vote? Dan?
No comments? I'm going to call the roll. Lorian,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes?
Foltz,
Yes.
Karowski,
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carried. Now I need a motion for vice chairman.
Motioned? For Volts?
Guy LeBlanc for Foltz. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Dan Phillips. Any discussion? Phillips,
Yes.
Karowski,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes?
Lorian,
Yes.
Volts.
Yes.
Motion carried. Dan Phillips, you can start with the oath and that while we're waiting for Bill to come on.
Okay.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Do we want?
Thank you.
Minutes?
And you know what? I voted for myself this year to be the chairman. too. Also last year. Do you want to do, what do you want to do the oath right now, Gwen?
No, you can do the minutes. I'm sorry, I passed the minutes up, so.
Okay. All right, everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes from the December 1st, 2020 meeting. Would like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Also motion.
Bob Foltz,
Yes.
Second?
Guy LeBlanc. And I'll call the roll. Lorian,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes?
Phillips,
Stayed?
Volts,
Yes.
Karowski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next on the agenda is correspondence, and we only have we have two correspondence, but we'll wait until read them until we get to the items on the agenda. Is that okay, Gwen?
Yep, however you want to do it.
All right. The next item on the agenda is an oath I'm going to ask everyone to take. I'm going to read a brief statement. Each request presented to this board is reviewed on its own merit. Judgments rendered are not based on similar or previous decisions. When unsatisfied with the decision reached by this board, an applicant may reapply to the board with a modified proposal or appeal the decision to the county court of common pleas. The board strives for a comfortable, informal atmosphere while conducting its business and asks that everyone who intends to speak during this evening's meetings stand up now, raise their right hand, and repeat the following oath. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to speak truthfully
to state truthfully
during the proceeding
during
Proceedings
of this evening's meeting.
of
of
this
this evening's meetings.
So help us God.
So
So
help us God.
Thank you. All right. One, is there any old business?
No,
New business. First on the agenda is Stuart Gloverman. Mr. Gloverman, can you please state your name and your address for the record, please?
Stuart Globerman, 5436 Portage Drive, Vermillion.
Okay.
No, Bill?
This, I was not at last month's meeting, so I see you came back you were asking before for a side variance and a front variance, correct?
Correct,
And now you're just back for the side yard variance.
correct.
Want to explain to us what you plan on doing here?
hold on for 1 minute. I'm going to put Bill DeFucci. He can't get on. I'm going to put him on speaker so he can hear the discussion and then he'll be able to address the body as well. Bill, can you hear us? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I think it was Stuart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the last meeting, the goal was to request a side yard variance and a front yard variance. And the front yard variance was tabled. And the recommendation was for us to get a survey and determine whether or not we would need a front yard variance from the city of Vermillion based on the other homes that were on the same street as us. So we've done that, and my understanding is that we do not need a variance from the city of Vermillion for that portion of the project. The side yard variance, the reason we're back is we'd still like to have that considered by the zoning board. We have more information. Neil Akers, took the survey and painted and marked out the area on the house. Last time we were here, we were looking for, our variance request was about 1.8 feet, I think, or 1 foot 8 inches. I'm not sure exactly. And now, because we have the property line between our neighbors, it's actually added on a diagonal, so it ranges from 1 foot near the front of the property to a 1/2 inch at the end of the structure that we'd like to add for storage.
And
Yes.
one of the things that we found out that when the architect originally drew it up, he just drew a square box, but the property was definitely on an angle. And we had the property resurveyed and the right of way surveyed, so we knew where it was going. And we found out that the house is sitting on a square to the right of way, but it's got a larger partial property on the left-hand side or the south side, which at that point we had everything measured. And at the very back of the storage area, we're a 1/2 inch off of the setback line, which is 4.4. And I had provided a drawing that went to the packet, and you guys probably got this drawing. That shows that at the back edge of the property, it was 4.4 or 4 feet 4 1/4 inches. I just transposed the tenths into inches as close as I could get it. And then at the front of the storage area, we are 9 1/2 inches encroaching in on that side yard setback. And then if you come all the way to the front of the porch, we're exactly 1 foot off of that setback. We're at 3 foot 4 3/4 off the property line, and we should have been 4 foot 4 1/4. So we're asking for that 1 foot to nothing as far as the side yard setback.
So the first time you came to this board, you were asking for 1 foot 8 inches, and now you're asking for 1 foot and a
One-
quarter
Yeah.
inch.
Right.
Okay,
And that's only because we had the property surveyed so that we knew where it was. And if you're standing in the neighbor's driveway and you looked at the new addition part of it, that's what you would see. You barely see it through the tree that is there. We had it superimposed on the existing house and brought it out the way it's supposed to be so that you could see exactly what the neighbors would see in that area.
okay. Now, like I said, I was not at the last meeting, but I've read all the minutes on that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look to my fellow board members if you guys have any questions.
Bill, this is Guy. So you're good with the front survey? Lack and no need for an easement there? I mean, for a variance? To build the Fuji.
That's correct. I have a drawing from a stamp surveyor showing the established setback on that side of the street. And there is a property that is closer than what they're proposing. So that fulfills that allows them to match that existing setback, that established setback. So yeah, we have something from a stamp from a surveyor and that fulfills that requirement.
Okay, thanks.
And I would just like to note, so for the record, the 4.4 feet is because the requirement is 10% of the lot width, and that's why it's not a greater side yard setback, correct?
That
Requirement?
is correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And I do recall reading in the minutes that we were asking to if you would, reach out to some of the neighbors to see about their concerns. And I see we have Mr. Holly's here, but I also received a letter, an email forwarded from Lee saying that he had no issues with this proposal. I want to put that into the record. Lee, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I don't. I would add that I think unfortunately this has gotten to be created some tension in the neighborhood, and everybody has good intentions on both of these setbacks. But my view is being a property owner on the north side of Gaubermans and a property owner on the east side of Gaubermans, that they are not inconsistent with whatever else is on Cherry Lane. And I think the Cherry Lane is somewhat special, and over the years, there's been obviously further encroachments in terms of setbacks, but they've been tasteful. And I think that's why we have zoning and reviews, and to try to accommodate particular situations.
Everybody free.
So I have no objections, and I hope this can move on for everybody.
Thank you.
Danny, can you hear? Are you frozen?
Can you hear me?
I think I lost Danny. Bob, you'll be running it until Danny comes back on. You may want to ask if anybody else that's on tonight needs to speak.
Are there any other comments from anyone? I do have just a question, I guess, of clarification for myself and everyone. Between the stated request or appeal, it says that the proposed is 3 foot 3 3/4 inches. Yet I look at the drawing and it's not the same dimensions. It's an inch difference, not significant in my mind, but I just want to make sure we're clear on what is actually being requested.
It should be at the front edge of the porch. The side yard setback for that is off the property line itself will be 3'4" and 3/4 of an inch.
Okay, so
And
it's 1 inch different than what is on the actual appeals application, which is proposed 3'3" and 3/4 inch.
okay,
Okay, I just wanted to be clear, so thank you.
you're welcome.
Have Danny back now.
And we can correct that, I assume?
You-
Maybe just a pen and ink type change or something?
Yeah, I think as we read the proposal, it should be corrected to that 3'4" and 3/4 inches.
Can we do it that way, Glenn? Can you just make a pen and ink change on, on the application?
I believe so. Bill DeFucci's always asked in the past if we ever had any minor, just that we noted in the motion.
Okay. Yeah, as long as we capture it somewhere.
So what is the proposal then? 3'3", or is it 3'3" and 3/4?
3'4" and 3/4.
3'4" and 3/4.
We're asking for 1 inch or 1 foot variance there, because it should have been, if you do 10%, that's 4.4 feet. So we're asking for roughly a foot.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions in the
Comment?
audience?
Yeah, I have a question.
Roland
Yes.
does.
Yeah, so the variance for the front is basically taken care of. There's nothing else to discuss about that.
No, it meets the, doesn't need a variance.
Well, there seems to be, I'm going to go back in history for a minute if I can, because there is a discrepancy. When the Garish house, which is lot 1516, was built,
Which one is that, Roland? To the south?
that is, no, that's actually, yeah, to the south, correct. Okay. Neil Akers used a formula because there was really no history prior to the Garish house in setbacks, because it is on a river. It's a skinny lot, meaning no depth. And what came out was, which I thought was a pretty good program, a good idea, was you use the old Paulson house, which is now, is gone. The setback of that house was about 11 feet. And use the Hilly house. The setback of 22 feet and 22 and a half feet. Add them up, divided by 2. That was going to be the setback for the Garish house, which turned out to be 17.1. Okay, there was a formula to use because there was nothing else to come up with a setback that was reasonable without obstructing views and things of that nature. So looking back at the Glauberman's house, we could use the same formula using the Garish house on the south side and the Hilly house, lot number 14, in relationship to the Glauberman house. So what you have is, I did a quick calculation on this. The setback for the Hillies is 22 and a half. The setback for the Garish house is 17.1. The combined value is 39.6 feet divided by 2, sets it back at 19.8 feet.
Well,
Okay, that is a huge difference. And from
Okay,
an
but-
aesthetics point of view, that's something that really should be looked at.
Well, I-
We have a house now for safety purposes. You bring some big equipment in, it gets pretty darn close. Okay, when you look at from an aesthetics point of view, and we took some pictures to kind of put it all in perspective, there's about a 35-degree angle obstruction, view obstruction, looking to the northeast out of the Hilly house corner, which is their dining room. Okay, so you have an obstruction there. I don't think anybody has really sat back and looked at how were these establishments or these setbacks established.
Well,
And as a resident across the street on Portage 5413, I look at this and said, you know what? We're letting the cat out of the bag time after time, and we should stop that. Here's a perfect example where there's clear abuse of moving a resident closer to the street, obstructing the view of anybody that's on Portage Drive.
okay. Thank you for your input in the history of the area there. We have to go by what is presented to us, and what Bill tells us what's on the variance.
Oh, I'm
What's on
not
the
quite
request?
sure. Sorry, I'm not sure he has the information right, because nobody has discussed how the variance was established and the garage house, which is the predecessor to this project.
Not sure that's relevant.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Sorry, Dan.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that is relevant. I think that, our charter is that, you can go as long as you're not exceeding the existing setback on the street. That's our guidance.
Are you going past the existing setback?
Well, according to the survey of what was presented tonight, the survey does not show that.
17.1 versus 14
Well,
doesn't show that?
We're just going off the information that was brought to us.
Let's respect
meet-
zoning laws, okay?
We do.
Okay, Bill DiFucci's going to address you.
Yeah.
That's,
I'm going to tell you what code says.
can't hear him.
We can't hear him, Glenn.
Go ahead, start again, Bill.
Okay, sorry. So the code does not speak of formulas. We cannot derive a setback from a formula. Code says we are allowed to use the established minimum front yard. That minimum front yard is established on that side of the street. Via the survey that was presented to us by a professional surveyor, there is a yard established on that side of the street that is at 11 foot 9 inches. So the front yard variance is not required because they are proposing 14 feet 8. That meets what is written in our code. There's no magic formula or some other way of looking at that front yard setback besides what code says. And code specifically speaks of a minimum established setback.
Okay, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Apparently, we're talking about the Betcher house.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is no longer valid because that street is gone, is now part of a driveway. Okay, that lot does not,
Go ahead.
that lot does not exist the way it is drawn up. This is based on old data.
That house is still an established yard that was in play on that side of the street. That house does not align with anything on South Portage Street. It aligns with Cherry. The front yards are established on the Cherry Lane side.
According to Mr. Betcher, that house is based on the old foundation of the Paulson lot, okay?
And that may be, and that
Right.
reinforces the fact that it's established.
All righty. Is there anybody else have any questions?
I'm Gretchen Loper. I'm here as a representative of the Architectural Committee. And we stated our case and concerns at the last meeting. As you know, we have our own setbacks here at the lagoons, and we'll study and reconsider those when the Globermans resubmit their plan to the committee, Architectural Committee, and we'll then pass our recommendations on to the Board of Directors here at the lagoons. So thank you very much. We appreciate your help in the last 2 meetings.
Thank you. All righty. Anybody else have any questions? Or any discussion? Matt, can I have a motion, please? Would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Request of 1 foot.
Yeah,
that
variance
correct?
requested, yeah, it's written as 1 inch, 1 inch, no, 1 foot, 1/4 inch is how it's identified on the application.
I know it's identified, but did we amend it to go 1 foot? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I think what we're amending is the proposed setback is going from 3 feet, 3 3/4 inch to 3 feet, 4 3/4 inch.
Correct.
Yes.
But the variance is still that, Neil, that variance is what you're looking for, really? One and 1 foot, 1/4 inch.
Yeah, yes,
It's staying the same, 1 and 1.
1 foot, 1/4 inch.
encroaching into
got
the
it.
side yard setback.
Yeah, so the proposal is still it's 3 foot 4 3/4 inches, but the variance will be 1 foot 1/4.
Got it.
Right.
Okay, I need a.
I'll
So Lorian
second the-
seconded. We got a second. Okay, I'll call the roll. Karowski,
Yes.
Volts,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes,
Lorian,
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes,
Motion carried.
congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the help.
Ready. All right, the next item on the agenda is Adam Wilson. Adam, can you please state your name and your address for the record, please?
Adam Wilson, 3560 Cooper Foster, Park Road, Vermillion.
All right, can you please tell us a little what you're looking to do?
We're looking into utilizing the building currently at 4811 Liberty Avenue and turning it into an interior climate controlled storage unit.
That's the old Alco building, correct?
The old Alco building, yes.
Got a couple questions. What are you going to have, like units inside built? What exactly are you going to be storing inside the building?
We'll start off with large items, boats, cars, campers, things like that. And eventually down the road, the business plan is to put in smaller units inside. So, you know, if you ever got online or, you know, drove past any of these places, CubeSmart and U-Hauls, there's some in Elyria. You know, they're nice, bright buildings. They have, you know, several types of storage in each of those businesses. They have interior access, so you can pull your car or your trailer or truck in, unload inside in the warmth, secure, store your stuff in your locker, get back in your car and leave, you know, in a secure manner that's climate controlled. So eventually, yes, you know, I'm looking at hopefully, you know, by, you know, mid next year, if everything goes through, is to add these individual storage units inside of here. So that's kind of the beginning of the project, of the building itself. And really it's just a base to start, you know, with a lot of other projects, utilizing the building for better things down the road for the community.
Okay. So you're saying boats, RVs, cars. Where's the access point to go in? The back garage door back there?
Well, that's one that's there existing. The other door, we've looked and done some research on the building and the style, the sprinkler systems, the electric panels, things like that, and as to where we could put another door. And as we see it, a new door, a 14 by 14 approximately overhead door, would be utilized at the southwest corner of the building, just behind the garden center area that's there now.
Okay. Hey, Bill, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Are there any type of requirements that we have to look into for if you're gonna be storing boats, cars, anything with gasoline inside a building like that?
So that will all be handled by the building code. He will have to go for a change of use for the building. His first step is to get the zoning use from Board of Zoning Appeals to show that it is of a like use. Then he can go ahead and progress forward with generating stamped drawings for an official change of use for the building. Because it is a change of use, he would be required to bring that building to current code for his new proposed use.
That's, wanted to make sure. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, we're going to talk about the correspondence that came in.
Well, the correspondence came in late, so that's up to you guys.
I'll actually, I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna read it into the record. We received a letter from Homer S. Taft. As I noted I noted last night that there is a storage facility on the agenda for Zoning Board of Appeals tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to attend and whether you can share with written comments. I do not believe storage unit facilities constitute a similar use to business zoning for allowed conditional use under our zoning code. This becomes especially true where the zoning code makes specific provisions for storage of personal property in places and generally in the industrial categories. I would ask that the Zoning Board of Appeals consider that yesterday a citizens group of a few dozen represented by Betsy Wakefield, Bill McCourt, Vito Camarata, Elaine Carlin, and I have provided a proposed ordinance banning storage unit facilities for vote in November. We requested last night a moratorium on storage facilities be placed by council, so-called temporarily red tag, until the voters decide this issue in November. While I think there are many beneficial uses for the former Alco store, I want to see that their area thrive and be occupied. Proceeding with storage units at this moment might not be the wisest option. In fact, the Wall Street Journal recently ran an article that supermarket size and big box inline stores generally are becoming a hot commodity in real estate, even during, perhaps because of COVID. The owner may find better opportunities, though that is their ultimate decision to they seek permitted uses. I don't think individual storage units are those under our zoning code. Respectfully, Homer S. Steve, are you there?
Steve Holovax.
Steve,
Yes, I'm here.
you got something like this at council, correct?
Yes.
All right. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
I think we should just entertain the notion of possibly tabling it until it goes to council.
And I'd like to speak some more on it if you guys have a few more minutes.
Yeah, we will. I just want to get
Okay.
the board, I'll definitely get back to you, Adam.
But on the other hand, you know, the code is what the code is today. You know, and the application's here in front of us. So.
And someone very wise pointed out to me this afternoon that, you know, we have to look at what's in front of us.
Right.
We don't look at what's in the future. We don't, you know, we don't look at the past. We look at each item on the agenda as its own separate unity. So I understand both sides of this one.
Right.
Well, I'd like to comment.
Yes, Steve. Yes, Phil.
So looking at the B3 Highway Commercial District, some of the permitted uses are actually the same uses that are being proposed for indoor storage. New automobile sales, used automobile sales where you'd have showrooms, boat and marine sales where you'd have showrooms, food lockers, definitely for storage. Garden and nursery centers where there was one before, this would be either converting that space or something similar. But this use will provide a use for a building that has been vacant for, I think, at least 8 or 9 years. If there were a use that were dying to go in there, I think that it would have been a higher and better use would have been found in that period of time. I do not see this as an inappropriate use at all. Every one of these permitted uses would generate far more traffic than a storage locker for internal use, boats, marine storage, personal items. Those are all very intermittent traffic trips. There's plenty of parking. It's off street. Can't see it, hear it, or smell it. So see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I think that this is an appropriate use, and I strongly think that we should approve this.
Good point there, Phil. You know, and like we said, we review everything on its own merits, and just, I understand the point of this letter we received, but this is something they're asking us, I believe, they want to put it on the ballot in November, and that's 11 months from now, 10 months from now. I don't think that's fair to anyone to ask them to wait around that long for us to make decisions like that. So,
Bill, do you have any comments? DeFucci?
No, I completely agree. This is in Board of Zoning Appeals hands. This particular use already exists in the zoning district, so that's why it's before them as for the official approval.
Adam, you wanted to say some more?
I mean, just on the, kind of commenting on the letter that was written in is, I know the council did, deny a storage unit being built, down the road. That's more of an exterior type storage unit that's vacant now on 60. They're not appealing to the eye. They're not something, that type of unit, we don't, I understand, you don't want in downtown, but this is, it's a building. Nothing's going to change with, the facade of the building or the feel of the plaza, with this being in there. Also, as I think Phil mentioned, this is something it's inside. It's not going to be, I'm not really going for exterior storage. I don't want to put a ton of boats in the front of that plaza. I don't think it's productive for that plaza to have something like that. Just kind of like, to me, it's not productive for Vermillion to have all of these boats right in downtown at Freeman Eckley and Crow Lumber and all that. That's all space that should be utilized better for our community. And the next thing is, existing like businesses. Bill DeFucci mentioned that, Lagoon Marine's right behind me. They have boats inside, outside, and it's 100 feet away. Harbortown Marine stores boats outside of the plaza, in the parking lot, out front and out back. We're not looking to do anything like that. We're looking to do it interior to give, safe, secure, close storage for, the community, people that, in the lagoons, that need storage, that, hey, I can walk across the street in the middle of summer and pick my bike up and go for a ride, and, I can store my jet ski right there. It's 2 minutes away, and right here's the port and the ramp. Not, I got to go all the way out to the Farmville in Huron to a storage unit to get my jet skis and bring them all the way back. So that's, some of the things, but I don't know. I think there's, the building has been sitting there for 10 years. I know the plaza owners are anxious to get income generated from it. They pay big money in taxes on that building and they lose a lot. I think, for me, the storage unit thing is a beginning. It's a start for that unit. I think down the road at some point, I'd like to section some things off and maybe put, really neat, unique retail space in there around the side and the front of the building. Again, that will benefit the community. So it's not, I'm not necessarily wanting to stay or stick with this storage thing, just to kind of give you an overview of the business plan or my thoughts of, the future of the area and the building. So, there's it's just a beginning. It's a stepping stone to get somebody, me, in there, utilizing the space, bringing in income, for me, taxes for the community, and then, further developing it into something, again, that the community can utilize. And right now, 44,000 square feet, there's not very many businesses that are going to come in there and use that. Even Alco, when it took it over from Fisher Big Wheel, they downsized and put walls up, cutting that building out. What you've seen and walked into Alco was half of that building size. Okay, it's walled off and has three big sections, two side sections and a rear section that Alco didn't even utilize. So, that's like a Walmart size place, and Walmart's not coming here, and you're not gonna put any manufacturing in there. So, to begin somewhere, at least start somewhere doing something with it.
Okay.
Is my thoughts. Anyway, I thank you guys for your time, and I hope, we make a good decision, I guess.
Adam, Bob Volz, you are not the owner of the property, correct?
I'm not, no. South Shore Plaza is, it's actually, that unit for Alco is a separate property from the rest of the plaza.
Okay. I mean, if I piggyback and borrow some things from our mayor, probably ideally, yes, we'd like to have something that did generate more traffic and maybe more, outsiders and income and that kind of thing. But I understand what you're asking for. For people in the area, though, one question might be what kind of things would, how is access to be controlled and that kind of thing, just from a standpoint of, people coming and going and that kind of thing. I know it's not part of our responsibility. We're just to determine if it's an appropriate use, but just if I lived nearby or had any concerns, how is that to be controlled?
I mean, as far as excessive traffic because of the storage unit?
Accessibility, if I rented some space there, how do I get in, and is there going to be limited hours, or could it be 24 hours a day, people coming and going, and nobody really knows what's being stored there?
Well, I mean, there's controls, and there'll be a locking system in place. There'll be a surveillance system in place for the entire plaza, for that entire unit, interior and exterior. There'll be, remote locks in place that I can control and see from a platform on my computer. I can see who accesses their unit, at what time they accessed it. How everything that's done there will be controlled. As far as, 24-hour access, as far as my initial thoughts went were, yes, there will be. As far as what's being stored in there, I didn't go that far as to say, okay, here's your unit, sign your agreement. This is the list of things you can't store in here. That's obviously in an agreement, but what somebody actually signs and does, are two different things. Now, there'll be surveillance systems in there, and, they'll be able to be checked and recorded if we see something crazy going on, or, so there are some controls to that aspect.
Okay. Like I said, that's really not our purvey. I just thought the public might want to see and hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, if there's no more questions, I guess I will make a motion under the zoning district B3, codified section 1270.13B, permitted and conditional uses proposed as storage. The variance requested is to allow storage. Can I get a second?
Can we modify? I'd like to second that, Dan, but I'd like you to add one word, that it's interior storage.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill?
Yes, allow interior storage use, is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
got it. So Bill, you seconded that,
I'll
correct?
second the
Okay.
modified motion, yes.
I'll call the roll. Lorian,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes.
Volts,
Yes.
Karowski.
No,
Did you say no?
I did.
Okay. Phillips,
Yes.
motion carries.
All righty. Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
The next meeting will be February 23rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. by Zoom meeting again.
Yes.
With that, We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Peter,
All
it
right.
was good. Hey, hi,
Thanks,
hello,
everybody.
Peter.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
See you
guys.